What's up, guys? So, not an official episode tonight. Just wanted to hop on the live, just talk about some games that I saw. Starting with the Warriors, the last two nights. We've been talking about them a lot because they're one of the teams we're covering this season. And I'll take my L right here. After that Detroit game, I was starting to say, maybe Steph, he just maybe losing a step. He wasn't turning the corner on guys and like the big men. Like even he was getting big men on him and like he couldn't turn the corner when they blitzed. He couldn't take them off the dribble anymore. He was just settling. I think maybe he just wasn't confident in his body. But the second last night, he started actually turning the corner on guys when they blitzed. And a lot more. I don't know what the Blazers were doing last night, just letting him go one-on-one with no help. Like they need to force Wiggins and Oubre to make shots. And Oubre did play so much better last night because he was going at the rim, getting some dunks in transition, playing really good defense. And that's one thing you're going to get from Kelly all the time is he's going to play good defense. But, the fact that he was doing that and then finally made a three and then, getting to the rim and stuff like that was huge. So that got him going. And then Steph just put on an absolute clinic. I mean, when it came to floaters, layups, finishing through contact, and that's the thing about Steph. We've always known about his runner game, his floater game, but we hadn't seen it yet this season. He wasn't turning that corner. He wasn't taking dudes one-on-one. And he was getting Robert Covington, who's a really good defender last night, and putting him in the blender. His Steph's handle, I think he's got the second best handle after Kyrie, but his handle is more effective in terms of like, he doesn't waste as many dribbles. He's like tween back and he's already created a ton of space. It's a lot less and it's so effective. And when he gets into the paint like that and starts hitting floaters and then the confidence starts building up. He starts hitting jumpers and then it's the Steph show. And he made Damian Lillard his son again last night. That's an exaggeration, but I don't think Curry's improved his handle, Rashid. I think Curry's always been like that. Pull up the tape. I mean, we as Clipper fans should know he mixed Chris Paul and our boys a couple times. But, man, I mean, Steph. And, here's the shout out we really got to give. Draymond Green. I'm sick and tired of the lazy narratives, boys. We've been talking about it. This is why I felt one of the reasons why I chose the Warriors as one of the teams this year. Look at the way before. We talked about this on Dime Dropper in the episodes. Steph was moving around the court, but he wasn't getting the ball. Every time he passed the ball and go off the ball, Oubre and Wiggins would just do something else. They would just do their own thing. They wouldn't wait for him to come back around, get in his spots. So people were saying, oh, maybe Steve Kerr needs to adjust and do a lot more, Steph Curry on the ball, Steph Curry high pick and roll and stuff like that. And it's funny because in the beginning, they were just, packing the paint and making him kick it out. But maybe it's because the Wiggins started making shots. Maybe because Oubre started making shots. The Blazers stopped guarding last night at all. And Wiseman was getting easy rim runs. But Draymond's ability to know when and where Steph wants the ball and direct the whole team. Like Draymond came up the court. Let's just use tonight as an example. And the Warriors' confidence just literally carried into tonight. They, from the beginning of the game, blitzed the Kings on both ends of the court, talking on defense, fighting through screens, especially Kelly Oubre. Wiggins is actually a pretty underrated defender. I was giving him a lot of stick in the first two games, but he's stepped it up, whether it be, taking guys to the rim. And, Wiggins, he's long, he's athletic. So getting to the rim, he's finishing, nicely through contact, some nice athletic finishes. And, he was punishing CJ McCollum last night and some smaller dudes. And he was really doing a good job of that. And then the Warriors were killing Cantor in the pick and roll last night too. But tonight, just from the beginning. And then Kelly Oubre was making threes. I mean, how many threes did he hit tonight? 4 out of 6, guys. 6 of 13. I mean, this was his best game. 18 points. And that doesn't even account for all the defensive things he was doing. 2 blocks, a steal. So Kelly Oubre is starting to look like that Kelly Oubre that the Warriors expected, that we all expected. Andrew Wiggins. I mean, he hasn't had a bad game. Again, yeah, he wasn't very good in the loss to Portland, but let's be honest, he hasn't had a really horrendous game since Milwaukee. He's been in great form ever since. 7 of 15 tonight, 16 points. But I can't say enough about Draymond Green's impact on both ends, especially on defense. My goodness, the amount of charges that he takes. And you know what he is? Draymond Green is the best player in the NBA at rotating to the roll man on a pick and roll in the NBA. He's literally there before the roll man knows that he has the ball. Like several times yesterday, Nurkic would grab the ball and he would turn, or Cantor would grab the ball and he would turn, and Draymond was just standing right there. And this takes so much pressure off of Wiseman, because now Wiseman doesn't have to worry about always being that roll man or getting put in pick and roll, because Draymond's going to help him out. He's going to come, rotate over. And now when Draymond rotates, now Wiseman can come help over and get some weak side blocks. And we saw that tonight. And also Draymond's ability to know who needs the ball in their spots and make sure the ball's moving. He gets Wiseman the ball in his spots. There was a time where he came up the court tonight and he was like, he was telling Bazemore, he was jumping around like, Bazemore, go post up. It's not for Bazemore to score. It's for Bazemore to get the ball so the defense freezes and then Steph can come off the ball. I mean, Draymond and Steph, they've been doing this for years. They know each other. And this is what happens when you develop a team naturally, like the Warriors did, with their draft. I mean, Steph and Draymond have completely changed the momentum of this team now. And it's so unfortunate because the Clippers are playing them next, right when they're starting to hit stride. But you know what? It was the same thing with the Suns. And we just got to go in there taking names and, killing guys off. And, I don't know if they'll be ready for all the switching that we're going to do. Let's talk about the Nets for a second. Also, the Celtics, actually. Celtics, I think this was their best performance of the season tonight. By the way, Steph, still the best point guard in the league. Let me check that. And still a top 5 player in the league as far as I'm concerned. Celtics, Raptors, great. Another really slow start for the Celtics. They got to really kill this habit of starting out so slow and careless and not being engaged on D and giving up threes. But unlike the other games, for some reason, the Raptors couldn't continue that onslaught. And it was a big adjustment from Brad, going without the 2 big lineup, because even though Tristan Thompson's been pretty good this season, Tice has had some good games of late, a little worse to start the season. But going with that, stretch 4, no traditional power forward in today's NBA just works better, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can do high pick and roll and get into space and really get to the basket. And that's exactly what Jason Tatum did tonight. I mean, Jaylen Brown was really solid tonight, really solid. But it was really Peyton Pritchard, our boy Peyton, bounced back after last night. Him and Grant Williams off the bench. Peyton was killing in that pick and roll, creating good shots for everyone. Semi Ojeleye again was hitting threes, 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 12 points for Semi, 14 points for Grant Williams. They're both very good defenders. The whole challenge for Grant Williams and Semi Ojeleye is, can they make their open shots? And they did tonight. And Ojele's been better this season about doing it, about hitting his open shots. Grant Williams, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks, plus 28. And Peyton Pritchard, 23 points, 8 assists. Am I surprised? No. I know what Peyton's capable of. Tatum, though, obviously the game ball goes to him. He was on fire from everywhere on the court. And you know the biggest thing? Look at his stat line. 11 of 19 from the field. But what was it, guys? What did I say about Tatum? Don't take too many threes. 5 of 8. So less than 50% of his shots were threes, which is great. He made 5 of them. 13 out of 13 from the foul line, which indicates how aggressive he was being, which he was. And the Celtics cruised to a win. Not great at the end when they went to the bench warmers. But I think this was the Celtics' best performance of the season, because it was actually against a solid opposition. Even though they're struggling right now, I'm not worried about the Raptors. Maybe being away from Toronto has been hurting them a bit, not having that home crowd. But the Celtics 5-3, 2 wins on the bounce, and, just prolonging until Kemba comes back. I think that Brad is going to go with the, small ball kind of lineup, though, now going forward. Lucas, I can't get to the Knicks game because I didn't watch it yet. I got to watch that Hawks game. I'll be in tomorrow's recap. Tomorrow's recap will be Hawks and Nets. I'm sorry, Hawks and Knicks. So let's finish off with, before we just start talking to you guys, here are all the problems with the Brooklyn Nets in 2 minutes. 1, their inconsistent defensive intensity. It kind of starts, in my opinion, with Kyrie and what kind of defense he's going to bring. But in the Celtics game, it was a totally different mentality, a totally different communication, from the whole team. It was a team locked in with a point to prove. But they've gotten comfortable, especially Kyrie, who's been pretty lazy getting over screens. And if the Nets also, I think a little bit of their strategy is flawed. They want to switch a good amount, but they don't have the personnel to do it. Kevin Durant is their best defender, and that's a problem because he's their best offensive player too. And KD's not going to be able to take all these great offensive players, switch on to everyone and be the main force of, defense for the Nets. They can't rely on KD like that. And let's be honest, DeAndre Jordan, Landry Shamet, Taurean Prince, they've been complete net negatives so far. And DeAndre Jordan, I know his game as well as anyone. He hasn't been good for years. He's not a good defender in any way. He's a decent shot blocker who's not nearly as agile anymore. He can't move his feet in the pick and roll. He's terrible offensively, and now he's just not a very good smart defender either. He never has been. He helps way too early and often just leaves his big man under the basket. Another problem with the Nets, Steve Nash has taken Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant out of the game at the same time, and he hasn't learned his lesson. That lineup with LeVert, Shamet, Taurean Prince, Jeff Green, and Jared Allen is terrible. They get destroyed every time they're on the court. So then the Nets, Durant and Kyrie have to pick them up from behind every single time. Another reason that they're not good is because, look at their starting lineup. How many of those guys are even good defenders, really? Kyrie when he chooses to. Karis LeVert when he chooses to. Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, he is the best defender they've got, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Another thing about the Nets, Kyrie Irving has shot more times than Kevin Durant in every single game, or they've shot the same amount. Now, I don't mind Kyrie being aggressive because he's such a good scorer, but guys, this is what I talked about in the preview with the Celtics Kyrie. When he got off to start the season or in certain games, then he thinks he needs the weight of the world on his shoulders. Another thing about this team, without Spencer Dinwiddie, they only have three real creators. That's LeVert, that's Kyrie, and Durant. But I did see Joe Harris doing some pick and roll towards the end of the season, like in the bubble and stuff. So I think that maybe the Nets need to give Joe Harris a little bit of an opportunity to go a little bit more on ball, KD and Kyrie a little off ball. And, I have a thing where, no pass possessions in any era of basketball I just don't think that that's good basketball, even if you score, because nobody's touching the ball. So when Kyrie Irving is doing that, I don't exactly think it's conducive to the team actually benefiting, unless he's really hot. But that's my thing is I love Kyrie's attitude that he wants to come get 30 points a game or whatever. But it's I said it and I'm going to say it again. This team is going to go as far as Kevin Durant takes them. I want him to be the guy that wants to say that he's the best player in the league, not just his team. And to me, Kyrie has a little bit more of that, swing for the fences mentality. But I just think that Kevin needs to be the leading shot. He needs to shoot the most. And Kyrie has outshot him in every game. And I don't necessarily love that, especially when Kevin Durant's the one that's playing defense the most. But yeah, those are all the problems. Nash's rotations with leaving that lineup out there. Shamet, we know how he is off the bench, Clipper fans. He's dog shit off the bench. He's only good when he starts. His confidence wavers like the blow of the wind. And Jared Allen's better than DeAndre Jordan, and he's not starting. I don't think it necessarily matters who starts, but more so who finishes the game. And yesterday, the Nets went small, and nobody besides Kevin Durant wants to guard a big guy. Kyrie Irving got switched on to a big guy. And if you're going to take the challenge of getting switched on to a big guy, at least try, right? He was just letting Rui Hachimura score on him. Same with LeVert. But here's my thing. Rui Hachimura is actually really, really good. We need to give the Wizards, since they're one of the dime dropper teams, some love here. This was the best performance of the Wizards by far. And I'll tell you one stat that tells you the whole story. 7 turnovers. No, my friends, not Russell Westbrook had 7 turnovers. The whole Wizards team had 7 turnovers. Washington Bullets. That's why I'm wearing this hat. I got this from the Verizon Center. Repping right now because them boys played hard last night. And you know why? Because Russ was playing against KD. You just know every time that they play each other, Russ is going to go extra hard. And here's the thing, guys. You look at Russ's stat line last night. Terrible efficiency. But it was his best game of the season, in my opinion, because I prefer 100 miles per hour attack the rim Russell Westbrook, then, let me get my triple-double Russell Westbrook. And when he's attacking the rim, and he had some layups early on, and we talked about in the last episode when we were talking about the Wizards, how 3 out of 18 shots of his were inside the paint. So that means 15 shots weren't inside the paint. And we know how that goes for Russ. He was more aggressive this game. He didn't take too many bad shots, and he was really aggressive late in the game, making plays. And he actually played real defense the other night. So Russell Westbrook earned his victory the other day, and so did Beal. But the main guys that really were the difference makers, in my opinion, were the bench, who's been so piss poor for the Wizards thus far. But Davis Bertans finally showed up and started making shots, and he was playing good defense as a result of that. And then Ish Smith was better in his minutes, and Robin Lopez wasn't a certified liability. I think he actually may have gotten a block in this game. And Thomas Bryant, guys, he's been awesome since that second Chicago game. 21 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of 12. So, and he did a slightly better job protecting the rim. They're not a very good defensive team at all. We know this. And the Nets are a great offensive team. So they're going to concede a lot of points, 122. But what was important is they got the win. I really like Rui Hachimura's game because he's willing to punish little dudes on switches, which is exactly what we talk about in Is the NBA Getting Better, which you guys need to watch. If you haven't watched that, guys, I put my heart and soul into those videos. Go watch them from the top. And that'll tell you how the game has changed. But Davis Bertans, 15 points, 4 of 10 from 3, 5 of 12. They needed a game like that from him. Robin Lopez, he didn't get a block. He got a steal, I guess. Westbrook, look at the stat line, 7 of 25. Looks like terrible. Here's the golden stat, ladies and gentlemen. 10 assists, 2 turnovers. That is a 5-to-1 ratio for Russ, which is completely not what he usually does. And that, my friends, is why the Wizards won the game. The Nets turned the ball over 20 times. That's another terrible habit they have. They turn the ball over. They plummet outside of Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Kevin Durant needs to shoot more. Kyrie needs to, I know Kyrie can get his, but he needs to figure out a way to try to, get the supporting cast going a little more because they don't have, and here's another thing, the Nets don't have enough good defenders on this team to win the championship. Have we not ever considered that? Why don't we ever talk about these things? Steve Nash they threw him into the fire with this job as his first job completely. This is so much pressure for him. So it's going to be hard for the Nets to figure. It's going to be hard, and especially with this coronavirus, situation with Durant. Oh my goodness. If he misses more games, woo, Nets are in trouble. But you know what? It's kind of proving my point that the still best team in the NBA is the Lakers. Until somebody can knock them off the throne, they have the best chemistry. They have the best duo. Yeah, Kerr had, but here's the thing. Kerr didn't have the same pressure in his first season because the Warriors were a first-round exit. This team, albeit a first-round exit, when you get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, people are picking them to go to the championship. People were not picking the Warriors to go to the championship. It was all Clippers as a dark horse. The Warriors weren't even in the conversation. It was OKC and San Antonio's league at the time. It was San Antonio and OKC's league the whole way. The Warriors came out of nowhere because Steve Kerr made some crazy decisions. For one, putting Draymond in the starting lineup and taking David Lee out of it, and then benching Iguodala and starting Harrison Barnes. Some crazy, and then not to mention the whole changing of the way they played, going from a more on-ball pick and roll like modern strategy to going to off-the-ball movement, more Spurs style. Let's go to the comments now because I'm not really doing an episode. I just wanted to say all those things. So Steph Curry's back, ladies and gentlemen. The Warriors, I still stand by my pick. They're going to be the 7th seed. I was starting to doubt myself for a second and think they're going to be the 8th seed. The Blazers are better because I thought Kelly Oubre and Wiggins are just going to be completely inconsistent all season, which they could still be. But I think that if they play like the actual basketball players, Steph and Draymond will get them to that 8 or 7 spot because they're just that good. Man, guys, this is why you need to listen to me. You can look at Draymond Green's box score all night long, 5, 5, and 5, whatever. That literally indicates not even a tenth of what impact he's made and how he's playing in these games. It's insane. I've never seen somebody in this era, make such an impact without stats. In other eras, for sure, but not in this era. And it's insane. But anyway, what's the Nets' problem on defense? It's more wings and rim protection. Jarrett Allen's the only rim protection. It's also just effort too, Manky Rat. I'm surprised the Knicks won and Trey had a good game too. Randall, it sounded like the same story, 7-9, Steve, for the Hawks, like that we saw against the Cavs, like I talked about last night. They were up by like 15 again in this game, I heard, and they blew it again. And I need to see if it was the same exact mistakes, but I bet you it was. Forget what I said about random man. This is exactly why I told you I can't give the Kings too much love because they haven't proven me any different. By the way, I love De'Aaron Fox, but he doesn't look like he's improved his jumper at all. Am I wrong about that? Because I've only watched 3 games. It doesn't look like he's improved. He just needs to hit that jumper. Like, it doesn't need to be a 3, but like if you can hit a consistent pull-up, like that'll change everything. Trey, I don't know how DeAndre Jordan is still in the league, to be honest. Yeah, bro, I think he can be in the league, but like not on a good team. People don't understand. I don't know why Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving thought that was like a good move. Like, oh, DJ is really going to help us. He has that experience. Experience of what? Me chanting his name at Staples Center while he bricked our way out of the playoffs at the foul line? The fuck? Oh my God. Much love to DeAndre. He's a Clipper legend, but I like Zubats more than him. Like, I can't stand those kind of centers that you cannot trust with the ball in his hands on offense. My boy Random Man, every time I see you, Random Man, I forget about that super chat stuff, bro. The Ink Man, talk about the Clippers. They didn't play tonight. You got to catch my old videos. Nets need a true leader. We know it's Durant, but they aren't utilizing him to the fullest. I mean, why aren't they utilizing him to the fullest? Is that Kyrie's fault as a floor general? Is that Nash's fault? Is that his fault? I don't think it's Nash's fault. Even though in the first couple games we saw a lot more off the ball movement, and it's become very high pick and roll. It's just this, very high pick and roll again, and that's basic. KD ain't a true leader, and KD knows it. Jesus. I'm a big Rui Hachimura fan for pretty much no reason. What's up, Roberto Espino? Nets may make a move later this season to become a defensive stud. I think they should get like PJ Tucker. Like, that's who they should go for. Brooklyn's not as deep as you guys think. They don't have Spencer anymore. What are your thoughts on Brian Seaman? I think Brian Seaman's great. I think he's really good. I think that he's still struggling to find a good chemistry with his partner. I think Jim Jackson's actually a pretty good color commentator, but he's not a Clipper. So I don't know. I want Clippers. I love the ex player as the side, part of the blood. So I don't know. I do like Brian though. He's a great replacement for Ralph, and he's been on the radio before when Ralph was doing play-by-play. So he deserves this. Brooklyn got a deep line. Oh, I already read that. If Jared Allen would actually fully commit on defense and start in the starting lineup, they would be at least a bit better. I agree. Jeff Green should start at the 4 and Katie should go to the 3 and Joe at the 2. Yeah, that may not be a bad idea either, T-Money. That may not be a bad idea either. TLC hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't shown me anything. Should Allen start over Jordan? Yes, absolutely. I didn't watch the Rockets-Mavs game, but I heard the Mavs pulled it out, so good for them. What's up, to our boy? We literally traded for Bruce Brown for defense, and Steve's ass hasn't even played him. I saw that on Twitter today, T-Money. Bruce Brown's a good defender. I didn't know. So they should definitely get him in the lineup. If he can play defense, they need to get him in the lineup now. Anybody that can play defense, they need to throw him because Kyrie and LeVert, it's funny because I posted that video in the NBA getting better of Kyrie saying that players don't try on defense, yet he's guilty of his own thing that he's talking about. Yeah, JT should be starting. Justin Timberlake. Now, you would think that Kevin Durant and Jeff Green would have some awesome chemistry. I mean, they do. DJ couldn't shoot a free throw to save his life. No, Curry didn't stat pad. No, Curry doesn't stat pad. I mean, he was fiending threes yesterday, but that's what happens. When you have the hot hand, you go for it. The thing about Curry, the reason why I say he doesn't stat pad is because he doesn't care how long the ball's in his hands. He wants the ball to be moving, and that's not stat padding style. Stat padding is when you love the ball in your hands a lot. Oh my God, look at all the DJ comments. DJ is literally the only team that he's cool with Katie and Kyrie. Why is there games that Reggie gets like 2 minutes? Because he's unplayable sometimes, Reggie Jackson. Is DJ washed? Bro, he's been washed. He's been washed. What about to go? Bro, I'm Team Money, bro. This is concerning right now with this KD situation. Yeah, dude, Wiseman is great. And ever since Draymond came too, he's done, as I said earlier, he's done a lot of wonders for Wiseman. He's like, yo, like, it's kind of like that big brother telling little brother, like, yo, I'm gonna get you your looks. Like, it's okay. You're gonna be great. Like, we're gonna make things easier for you. But John Wall still bro. TLC made 4 threes last game. Yo, I did see TLC make those 4 threes. But my thing is, like, everyone's saying he's in for 3 and D. I didn't see him play that good of defense in either of the last 2 games at all. Like, at all. So I need to see that. I can see he can make open threes. But I mean, cool. Also unfair though, because he was guarding Beal a lot last night, and Beal's pretty unguardable. But yeah, I need to see more from TLC. I know he can hit open threes, but I just don't know how much. I don't know if he's good enough at it that it makes up for it. But oh man, Tatum Ronto on the way. SMH. Yeah, Raptors are in it. I think they'll be fine. Being committed and put effort on defense. Whoever told the Nets pairing up 2 offense-only stars, I wouldn't call Kevin Durant an offense-only star, would turn out successful was dead wrong. Awesome regular season stats, but will never work come playoff time. Carlos, I think that's a little bit premature. LeBron goated for being the best player at 36. Yeah, definitely. How did the Hawks get a low-key Heat lineup, though? I mean, I don't know, man. They killed it the offseason. Oh yeah. Great. Thank you, 8 crash out. I have to talk about that. This is the second time Kevin Durant's had a point blank shot that he makes with his eyes closed to try to win the game or tie the game. And he missed again. My jaw dropped when I saw that, when I saw him miss. Kyrie had a good look, but KD, come on, buddy. That was a choke job. Like, you got to make that. You can't. I give him the pass for missing the Charlotte one. I said it happens, but he missed it again. So yeah, man, they're choking it. Who do you think would actually trade for Bagley? Who do you think would actually trade for Bagley, and who's a good fit if he does get traded? Jesus. I don't know, honestly. I mean, I think the Nets could use. Here's my thing about Bagley is I don't watch him enough to know like what he's really good at yet. I know he can score decently, but like I don't know his weaknesses yet like that. So I can't really say. It's looking real bad for the Nets, man, on the court. It don't look too good. And Katie's gonna miss next game. Yeah, I know. When it comes to surrounding them, this is the part where I'd say something about my Sixers. Okay, I'll give you something. I did say this in my season preview. I did say this. But what did I say about the one thing Glenn Rivers could do well with the Sixers team? Unleash Clipper Tobias. And it looks like he's doing that. And that's, you know what it is? It's called Brett Brown completely misused him. You have to give him different kinds of looks. You cannot put this guy in a box. He's not just a standstill shooter in the corner. He's gonna brick. He needs to get dribble handoffs. He needs to get high pick and roll bit. Get into those mid ranges. He's a great first quarter player. Great. So I'll give Glenn that. And you're taking care of business. I mean, you're beating the teams you're supposed to beat, which is huge for making the playoffs in any sport. But yeah, I'm not second round exit max. I'm still not going to change my stance on that. What did you think of the dust up between Devin Booker and Paul George? I think it was great. It's basketball. It's cool. Where do you rank the Warriors in the West with Clay back? Jesus. Top 3. I'd say top 3 or 4. And people call Kevin Durant the best player in the NBA. If only Kyrie had a teammate who could make the shot too. I'm a Westbrook fan, and my heart was beating when the 2 clutchest players. Do you think they're the 2 clutchest players in the NBA? 8 crash out. Where should Harden go? Houston. Yeah. All right. Sean Marks wasted so much time trying to get Ibaka that he didn't go after anyone else. Yeah, team money, bro. I don't know, man. It's going to be tough, bro. It's going to be tough. Kyrie is going to have to go off. Here's my thing, though, team money, that I also think could be weird, is Kyrie's going to really, if Kevin Durant doesn't play, take it upon himself to go off. And I think he's going to go off. But then he's going to I think he may get high on himself and then just start thinking that he needs, like, when KD comes back, even then, like, oh, I'm getting off. Like, I'm just going to keep getting off. The thing with Kyrie is just he can score so easily and can score on anyone that sometimes he just wants to score. And, like, he's still a point guard. Like, the most important thing about a point guard is not necessarily passing the ball and getting assists, but, like, setting the tempo for your team, controlling the team. Kyrie is not a floor general at all. At all. He's not. LeBron was the floor general in Cleveland. And Boston lacked it. It was very random except when Kyrie was in Boston the first year and he sacrificed. That was a different Kyrie. That was a really good Kyrie, actually, before he got injured. John Wall's not useless. Let's relax there. If the 76ers are making it to the second round in your eyes, then I said the Sixers could make it to the second round, but Johnny, I agree with the 4 that you named. Those are the 4 best teams in the East, in my opinion. Who are the clutchest players in the NBA? Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, and then, Steph, Kyrie, LeBron, Kawhi. Yeah. But I think Damian Lillard is the clutchest player in the NBA. When it comes to that last minute, like last shot, last minute of the game. Jimmy Butler is clutch, though. I think Tatum is clutch, too. He's got that killer instinct. Loving the game so far from us, but I'm staying with the second round bye statement. It's just looking too good to be true. What do you mean second round bye, Xavier? Do you think Westbrook is playing to his standard so far? No, except last game. You guys, Listen, it crash out. I cover the Wizards every game. I talked about them every game. So check out my videos. Let's see. When we play the Clippers, I'm gonna turn my TV off if I see Kawhi take a mid-range in the corner. You think the Pelicans will make the playoffs? No, but I think they can maybe make the play-in. Nets losing Dinwiddie. Yeah, Nets losing Dinwiddie. I said it wouldn't be that big a problem, but it is a huge problem with that unit when Kyrie and Kyrie go out, or if KD and Kyrie rest, then it's a huge problem. It just didn't look like they were needing him much in the beginning. But oh boy. Crazy how much CP3 impacts the Suns, bro. I know, right? I talked about the CP3 effect in my last couple episodes. Ty ball. LeBron's not the clutchest, but I think LeBron is clutcher than people give him credit for. The 76ers are good. He literally can be considered such if we were talking about current. 76ers are good, but why are they number one in the power rankings? Oh, yeah, the Nets. Roy Bradley, you're right. Another thing, Nets. Rebounding. Rebounding is a big problem, too. Too many second chance points last night. Crazy to see how much CP3 has improved the Suns. High-key saw the Lakers couldn't get to see him paired up with Kobe. Even if we're talking about all-time, LeBron should rank decently high. In the clutch category, I think he's just a great player. I think he's relatively – he's clutch at times, but he's more clutch to me like last shot, like, 5 seconds left, give it to LeBron, and he shoots it. But, like, when he has the ball in open play, a lot of times, to me, he, like, gets a screen and they throw as many defenders as him as possible, and it forces him to pass the ball, and I don't really love that. Tatum Brown is such a fun pair to watch. Yeah, it is. My boy, shout out Kioi. What's up, bro? And V. Caruso is greater than Dre. Second round exits. We looking too good to be true. Yeah, Xavier, I'm never going to – that second round, bro, I can't ever get, like – I'm never going to say we're going to make it out of the second round, like, ever. They need to do it. They need to do it because last year I was so sure. So I'm not going to say that this year I'm so sure. Come on, Dime. The media narrative that LeBron isn't clutch is so false. That skip started. LeBron is clutch more than people give him credit for. I agree he is. I agree. I never said he isn't clutch. He is clutch. LeBron has hit a ton of playoff game winners. You have Twitter, just asking to see if you tweet when you go live. Yeah, I do. Mehran. Is that an Iranian name? I am on Twitter, dude. At TimeJumperPod. And I tweet all the time. Wizards need to trade Thomas Bryant for White. No, not Whiteside. Whiteside's garbage to me. He has nothing on offense, man. He's just a rim protector that's stupid. It's so funny how so many star players are resting back-to-back games and the media doesn't say anything, but when it's Kawhi, they start complaining. Damian Lillard is not the most clutch in the NBA. Jimmy did more clutch 5 in the finals. I feel you. I mean, Jimmy Butler too, but Dame's done it for a while, and he's just fourth quarter Dame time and signature. Will the Nets be like the last year's Clippers? There's a great chance. I see a lot of similarities. Starting with the fact that the coach doesn't stagger their stars. I went to a Sixers-Cavs game once, and he missed 2 free throws for the win. He's not that clutch. LeBron James has more game-winning or tying field goals than any active player. Look up the stat. I don't have to look up the stat because I believe you, and I remember. I can. Once again, don't quiz me about LeBron's career. I know more about LeBron's career than, like, his kids do probably. Okay? I know every single playoff game winner LeBron's named and I made, and I can name it off the top of my head. I can tell you every single one right now if you wanted to. We don't got time for that, right? How long do the Wizards have to wait to fire Scott Brooks? I think they should fire him tomorrow, but maybe a couple more losses. Yes, I am, Andrew. Nets attempted like 20 to 25 less shots than the Warriors, but still lose by 1 point. Yeah, rebounding big. No, oh, come on, Brent. LeBron hit a clutch shot, game 7 against the Spurs. They were winning by 2. He pulled up, made a shot from 18 feet, and that put the Heat up by 4, and that essentially won LeBron his second championship. That was a huge shot. That doesn't get talked about enough, honestly. Does Jimmy have those performances had the Heat had Dragic and Bam? What do you mean? No, but that's the whole point. The point is Jimmy Butler, that's why I rank him so highly. It's because Jimmy Butler knows when he needs to get off and when he doesn't. He knows what his teammates are capable of and wants to elevate them. And that does not mean I'm going to find, you spot up, I'll find shots for you. That's, you can go get yours. I don't need to, hold your hand. That's what I love about Jimmy Butler. Brett, last finals when he dropped a 40-piece. I mean, Kobe airballed the game winner versus the Jazz. Yeah, in his rookie season. Let's not get to LeBron early in his career too. We can go all day with that shit. If Jimmy had a healthy Dragic and Bam, it would have gone to 7. Maybe. Who did it better, Brandon Roy or Dame? Ooh, I think Dame, but I really like Brandon Roy. That was a really sad player that could have been so good. He was so good. Yeah, it is a Persian name. Just dropped the follow. I'm not going to lie. I was laughing so hard on the Clippers rant. Hey, it was a good video. I think Jason Tatum is better than Jalen, but Jalen Brown's IQ is higher, and he simplified his game. And sometimes Tatum, as I said, overcomplicates things. So that's why it's kind of close, too. Thanks for addressing the Game 7 2013 shot. Underrated. No, the Sixers are not getting out of the East. People say that Kawhi beat a hobbled Warriors team, but nobody talks about how Braun beat a hobbled Heat team. Oh, and no, and let's be realistic. Yeah, facts. It was the same shit too. Clay missed like 2 games, if that. He only missed 1 full game. Yeah. Why are the Clippers so inconsistent? I don't think we've been that inconsistent. What do you feel about the Suns this year? 5 seed. I said it in my preview. Go check it out if you haven't watched it. Penny, Grant Hill, Brandon Roy. Yep. If you had to choose one player to carry a team of bums to the finals, would it be LeBron? Absolutely. LeBron is the perfect player to just put, shooters with him, and because he may be the best shot creator the game has ever seen. I'll say that. But that doesn't mean anything to me if you can lead a group of shitty players. Like, it's cool. Yeah, good for you. But if you can't take that same group of shitty, if you can take a group of shitty players, but you're not good enough to be the best part of a championship team, then it means nothing to me. So I don't care what you can do with it. Like LeBron in 07, people try to act like it's the team's fault that he didn't win the championship. No, it's not just that. Bro was not good enough yet to win the championship. He had no jumper. It was streaky, and he was, mentally weak. In 2011, exposed everything. And then he had to get over that, and he did. 2011, LeBron will say it himself to you. 2011 was the best thing that happened to him. Who do you think is better, Lou Will or Caruso? Yeah, I saw what Mike Trudell said. Here's the thing, man. I clowned him for that, but sometimes Caruso, here's the thing about Lou, and here's the thing. People don't understand that if you can play defense and are okay offensively, it's much better than the other way around. Because even though this league is an offense league, you can't always make every shot you take, but you can always play defense. And if Lou Williams isn't making shots, then he's a liability. So that's why I still would say Lou Will is better than Caruso, but Caruso sometimes can be more playable. I wish the Nets got Nick Batum. Oh, don't they all? Don't we all? What's up, Dime? How do you compare the new Clips versus Lakers squads? I think it's much closer than it was last season. We've made it closer, but only a playoff series will answer that question. That's my honest opinion. Will the Lakers repeat? I say yes. I said it from the beginning. I'm not changing my picks in the preview, guys. I'm not changing. I'm going to stand by my picks. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But, yeah. Didn't know D. Wade, Bosh, and yeah, he was talking about, we were talking about other teams, but yeah, Jimmy Butler and Kawhi would be scary. So scary. We have been inconsistent. Losing to the Mams by 51 and then winning 2 straight by 20. Hey, man, cushy. When Kawhi doesn't play, our whole team is different. From the morale, Paul George is not a leader anymore. This version of him is not a leader. What type of basketball player were you growing? Were you a great offensive player or defensive player? I am. I'm not going to say I was because I'm still in my prime. Not yet in my prime. But, when we get to this age, 22, 23, this is when we start getting big, baby. But no, I'm a quick guard who's not very tall, sadly. Handles, passing. The channel's called Dime Dropper for a reason. One day I'm going to post my freaking rec or intramural, or school through the years, mixtape or some shit. And I'll post it one day, in a little, maybe in a year or so, or whatever. And you can see, I'm just going to drop, just show my dimes and stuff. I had some crazy, your boy can pass, but I'm not too great laterally. I can clamp down. I have really good hands. I'm like Chris Paul. I'm not the best, relatively speaking. I'm not good at, I'm not the best at, sliding my feet and shit. But, and I play really clean defense. You won't see me hacking or anything. But I will, if it's game point or some shit, or I'm not going to let you, if it's getting really bad, I'm going to foul you hard, wrap you up. There's no easy baskets. But, yeah, I'm not great laterally, but I have good hands. So, yeah. I love I just like seeing other people score. Like, I know assists aren't everything, but it is fun getting assists, man. I just love seeing people. I love seeing people like Jokic has a good quote. Is like when you score, you're happy, but when you assist, two people are happy. And I just always think that means more to me. I actually, funny story, different story for another day, but I almost did. I graduated high school partially because one of the dean's principals I made look good in a rec league. But anyway, that is true. LeBron's game wasn't fully developed in 2007 or 2008 or 2009 or 2010 or 2011. You see Nick Wright call Max Kellerman a worse version of himself on air today? I didn't. I don't listen to what Nick Wrong says, Gabe. Yeah, Cleveland isn't a popular destination for free agent. Yeah, of course the media. No, I can't dunk. Not even close. Only had an 8.5. No mini magic, Carlos. I'm not tall enough. I don't do hook shots with both hands. Magic is on a totally I can never replicate what he does. But I'll tell you this about Magic. The approach that he has to the game, I relate to a lot. I'd say like his energy to the game and like his passion and like making everybody excited, like that love for the game that Magic has. That's why he's my favorite player, because he looks like he's enjoying himself every damn second. And I love that about Magic. He's the pure embodiment of what a prototypical, if I had to invent a basketball player, that's what it would be. Anyway, Lakers would win. Boubacar Jalot. I think that the Knicks will probably go like 10-10 in the first 20 games and then go like 20-32 the rest of the season because they're the Knicks. I guarantee you're a better defender than DeAndre Jordan. Not a chance. Sugar, I agree. We've seen the Magic do this every year. Start off like 12-2 and struggle for the 8th seed. Waiting on my Stizzy pod to come through as a bitch, but talking hoops does pass the time greatly. Damn, you just do Braun like that when I had much more to say. What do you have, Johnny? Come on, I'm trying to get off soon. Heat blew out OKC. How tall are you? Like 5'8", bro. Don't act like playoffs, bro. What? Did you think KD left because he thought Russ was too ball dominant? No, not really. I think he left because he didn't like the supporting cast around him. I don't think he loved playing with Russ. He didn't like playing with Billy Donovan, and because he's kind of a puss. Magic, greatest offensive player ever. I look at offense on how you move a unit along with yourself. Okay, I like that. LaMelo's good, man. The first time I see you nervous is when you're talking about yourself playing basketball. I don't think I would consider me nervous. I love the game. I've had some tough memories with the game. And let's just say, guys, when I talk about confidence in players, just know that, like, I've experienced it firsthand. And I know what confidence in sports does. And it's the most important thing. Don't let anyone else convince you otherwise. It is the most important thing, confidence in life, not just sports. And that's why Michael Jordan is, in my opinion, like that's why the conversation with Bron has a lot of confidence now, but it took him a long time to develop that. Jordan, he needs to get it too, but it's a different level, man. The confidence factor with Jordan, oh my, and Larry Bird and Kobe, like those three especially, and Russell, those four, the way the confidence that they exude is like insane. Like it's admirable how confident they are. I'm jealous, to be honest. Anyway. All right, boys. I'm out. Drop any last-minute questions right now because this has been a nice little live, not an official episode. Talked about the Nets. Why did KD leave Golden State? Because he's obsessed with self-validation. 8 Crash Out. Go listen to Draymond Green's podcast on All the Smoke, and he talks about it, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Like KD was getting butt hurt. Would you consider a playmaker or scorer more crucial to an offense? It depends on the personnel, man. It depends on the personnel. Philly and Nets. Who are you taking? Okay, the Nets. Come on. No team with Glenn Rivers is going to beat Kevin Durant. I'll swear by that till I die. Never. Okay? By the way, Lonzo Ball's choked tonight at the backcourt. Oh, my God. Did you see that, guys? That reminded me of 2014 Game 5 against OKC. What are your thoughts on how AD handled his trade request? Yeah, obviously anything's better than what Harden's doing, but it was just weird. I just didn't like how it came right after he signed with Clutch. Like, it was so predictable. But whatever. It's whatever. If Bron gets 6 rings, are you good with the GOAT conversation? As of right now, the only players I'd be okay people say are better. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I guess. I'm okay with the GOAT conversation. I just don't like that it's two players and then everyone's bypassed. That's bullshit. And that's media propaganda. That's not actually true. Because Magic Johnson, LeBron has now played 6 more years than Magic Johnson. And he has less rings still. And don't give me that, oh, he had Kareem and this and that. What the fuck was Kareem winning before Magic came to the Lakers? Nothing. So anyway, and that's all I got to say about that. So peace. Thanks, Carlos. Doc can bring the best out of Tobias. Lonzo made up for it in overtime when he got the steal and the slam. Okay. Bledsoe choked on defense. I didn't watch the game. Good knowledge. You need more than one great player to win? Define a great player. Kobe Bryant needed Pau Gasol. You know, that's another thing we don't talk about. Kobe Bryant's second option for those rings with Pau Gasol was, you know, I love Pau Gasol, but there's a lot of second options that are far better than Pau Gasol. When we talk about the top 10 players of all time, Dwayne Wade and Kobe are Shaq's second options. You know, Kyrie Irving and Pau Gasol, we could talk all day, but I'd say Kevin Love was better than any next player on the Lakers, even though LeBron put him in a box. Anyway, that's all. That's all for the night. Tim Duncan, 2003 championship too. Also, 80s are different because, yeah, I'm going to be back here tomorrow, Andrew. I'll say this, though, especially when you talk about 80s teams, like Magic's Lakers and Larry Southern, you say, oh, he had a stacked team. That's because the league was more condensed. All the teams at the top all had multiple all-stars. You couldn't have won without a team like that. So you're going to have to, listen, Magic Johnson may have had great players on his team, but he has to play against a team where their fourth best player is a finals MVP. Do you know how ridiculous that is? That's ridiculous. Bro, Whiteside is not good. He can't make a free throw. And there's a reason why Eric Spoelstra stopped playing him. Anyway, that's all good for tonight, boys. I'll catch you tomorrow for the Lakers. Is it Lakers tomorrow? We got a game? Clippers? Let's check. Oh. So tomorrow we got the Lakers and the Grizzlies at 5. I'll be coming to you with that. And then the Spurs and the Clippers. So I'll be live after that game. Maybe, I don't think I'm going to watch Utah and Brooklyn because it looks like Durant's not playing. So I expect the Nets loss. I may watch it after the live, but I don't think I'll have time because 5 o'clock game and then 7 o'clock game for the Clips. So I think I'm just going to watch Lakers and Clippers. It'll be an LA kind of night. All right, and I'll talk about the Hawks game from tonight. Anyway, there we go. Cornbread pop. Okay, first of all, Johnny Cabede. Larry Bird was in his second season, by the way. I know he was 25. He was a little older. That was his second season. He led a team to a championship. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Against the Sixers team, that was well experienced and beat him up the year before. Anyway, and I think he had to. I think I may be wrong. He came back from a 3-1 lead, bro. He came back from a 3-1 lead. Oh, I can't wait to watch that series. All right, peace out, boys.